and just lay that wherever you're comfortable with it, somewhere where you won't trip over it. If you lay it the other way up, because we're going to stack the super in it, the idea is that as little of the hive parts gets in contact with the ground as possible,
right?
Because then the least amount of pathogens gets in. So with here you've got a super, and you've got a in between you've got the queen excluder. So you need to get your hive tool in there, and this will all be sort of stuck together, so you'll need to you'll hear it physically crack. Yeah. And when you've heard it crack and it feels liftable, lift it off.
Do you do that all the way around, or just?
It depends. Sometimes you need to. Most of the time, I think this hive will be all right. But as you try and lift, see how it goes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to hang on to the queen excluder so that stays here. And if you just put it down on the diagonal on there.
Oh, yeah.
The reason you put it on the diagonal is you crush less bees. If you put it in there square, you're gonna. So we've got a smoker that's actually alive, just, and a bunch of happy bees. So just trying to work out. I think the dummy board might be around this. No, it's not. It's no, it's your side. That's great.
Side.
Yeah, it is. You're absolutely right. So the queen excluder comes off, and we need to check the underside of it for the queen, because ideally we don't want to take the queen out of the hive. So just flip that over nice and gently, and we'll have a little look. You can hold it towards you, it's alright, I'll keep with you. So you just go up the rows. There's a drone there, see, nice and big compared to the workers. Another drone there. But everything else is workers. So if we put that down now, but what we're going to do is we're going to put it at the front of the hive. So if we have missed the queen, she's got the shortest possible route back into. Do you know what? I'm going to go for water.
That's Brian just arriving to do some grass cutting.
Joan, can you see the queen?
Well, I've never seen her yet. But she does have a little green dot on her head.
You immediately feel like itchy, like there's something in your suit, don't you?
The moment I put this on, I wanted to scratch my nose. It's always the way, isn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah.
You get days like this where the smokers just won't stay. But a water spray will have much the same effect, not quite the same, but very similar. So if we whip the dummy board out, and the best way to do that is you can kind of use this like a hook, and if you hook it up, I'll hold that end. If you do the same to the other end.
Excuse me.
Got there. That's it. So again, because we're going to take it out, we just check that the queen's not on there. And indeed she's not. And just shake the bees off. If you tend to use it a little bit like, because you can use the bend in it to make it sort of the bend of it helps it move around. Move it into a bit of space, and then lift it out when you feel ready. And what you tend to do is once you've lifted it straight the way up, and you lift that side and check the side that's been in the dark longest, so it tends to be the side that's away from you. And we look what we can see, which on an outer frame is normally not very much. Just bees working, there's sometimes some honey out there, but the outer frames are normally fairly sort of quiet little areas. So, yep, and then check the other side, which is even quieter, which is very typical of the outside of a frame. And when we're happy that there's nothing much to see on that one, just drop that back in and tuck it up against the wall. Lovely. Nicely done.
Squashing as few as possible.
Precisely. It gets them a bit raggy. They put out an alarm pheromone if they get kind of squished, and then that sort of raises the irritation level of everybody else.
See this pollen going in.
Yeah, so on this side we can see brood, seal brood there, and it's worker brood. Got a little queen cup there, which I'm just going to have a quick look in. There's nothing in there. There's larvae. There's not larvae there actually, those cells are a little bit shallow. Okay, and again we can see drones there. Big bum drones, big eyes, big bums, generally bigger. Another one there, another one there. And often you'll see the drones on the outer frames because that's where the honey is. And if we just check the other side. And again, if you want to move them, you can blow on them, use the back of your hand. You judge what works for you. We've got a drone cell there, so it's domed. There's never been a lot of drone in this colony because it hasn't been that big, and they're a bit of a luxury, although there's quite a few drones in here now. But drones aren't loyal to a colony. Drones will come in from other colonies and be allowed in. I'm just going to take that one off your wrist. You've got a little bit of a gap there, which you might once you
There's
put
the
that
one
frame
there
back in.
with sort of
With
heavily,
a pollen on its
heavily
back legs,
laden, isn't
yeah.
it, on its back legs?
I don't know if you can see any larvae or anything in there. Sort of white, curly, C-shaped.
No.
Okay, that's fine.
That's fine.
Yep, let's drop that one back in. If you just want to tuck that glove in
I will do.
and just move back into the space. That's it. Lovely. That's it, great. And so the space you've got doesn't get smaller each time. If you just tuck. And one of the reasons for these self-spacing frames and these sort of is that there's a minimal space to actually trap two bees to trap bees between. So you kind of you can push them together. So carry on to the next one. I'll just give them a little bit of a spray. Makes that a few less bees in the way. They don't like it when it rains, especially when it rains in the hive.
That must be quite unusual.
Looks like a busy one.
Yep, it will be. So again, nice frame of brood, second frame of brood we've seen. Drone cells, one hatching out there. Just kind of emerging. That process won't take very long and no one pays any heed, they just all walk over your head and sort of stuff. On the other side, yep, just lift that up towards you so you can see. Good brood on that side. Haven't seen the queen yet. Sometimes you can just sort of stop them all piling on top of each other, just putting your hand across. That's looking fine. Okie dokie.
So there's more brood this week, isn't there?
It should be. I mean, each
Because we're
week
now
it should
onto the-
still.
almost the outer frames.
Yeah,
aren't
so,
we?
well, we're going from this side, so we're
Yeah.
on second frame brood, third frame
Yeah.
brood. I suspect it'll be on 6. If it's on 7, I'd be happy. If it's on 6, that's fine. So,
There's the
yeah.
queen
Ooh,
on
well
the
spotted.
right hand side, halfway up. That level was my
Oh, yeah, the
reading.
green, yeah.
Everyone's
Oh,
spotted
right.
it but me.
Yeah. First time I've seen it.
Excellent, well done. Yeah, I've got her now.
That's a good
She
green.
just moves differently, doesn't she?
She does. I always think she sort of stalks a bit like a cat.
So
Sort
what
of
is
bit.
she doing now?
She's looking around for a frame to lay, and she's also not very happy about being in the light. She runs to the dark all the time.
Right.
So that's why when you're looking for queens, you always take your eyes around the edges, because if she's anywhere near the edge, she'll be straight over before you've even seen her. So well spotted. Always a nice thing. Never essential, but always a nice thing to do to spot the queen in there. Yeah, and when you've spotted the queen, that frame goes back in really very gently. That's lovely. I'll just tuck those up together and again, in the absence of smoke, I'll just use it like this. That's nice.
I've seen things like liquid smoke advertised. Is that just fancy water?
I'm not sure what it is. I mean, some people use it because the smokers can be, yeah, like you've sort of seen today. Yeah. You can just have a bad day with a smoker, and I have more bad days with smokers than most, I suspect. I've never tried it. To be honest, it's probably a bit more expensive with all the consumables you have to buy for it. But yeah, I'm sure it does the job.
There's a little bit of larvae there, I think.
Okay, great. What I might do, we've seen the queen, so what I might do, when you've had check the other side of this frame, now we've seen the queen and we know where she was, we're slightly safer, so we might I'll shake the bees off of this frame and pass it around so people can have a look and
There's some
see.
larvae on there as well.
Terrific.